this week, the organizers of Pope Leo's trip to Spain, they decided that they would not have confessions for the young people in the grounds where they meet. And, you know, I went to World Youth Day in 1993, and even though World Youth Day is criticized for a lot of things, one thing I can tell you, there was thousands, tens of thousands, maybe more, because there was millions there, of young people going to confession, because they're in all these groups, they're with their, you know, parish leader, and some of those priests who came along would still teach the children the truth about human sexuality, God's plan for sexuality, and the sinfulness of, you know, disordered sexuality. So there'd be lots of confessions. In fact, sometimes confessions all night long. But the organizers now have said, we don't need confessions for the young people. They're going to have them in the churches, of course. But here's the rub. They're saying, oh, no, we're still going to have confessions. It'll be at the churches, at the local churches. And yet everybody is in the central gathering place, and they're not having confessions there. In fact, what they're having there is listening centers so that laywomen and laymen can come and talk and share and whatever. I was talking with Liz Yor about this, and it freaked me out and her too, because not only is it absolutely horrendous from a Catholic perspective, but even from her perspective, which is one that's concerned about abuse of children. Do you think they're going to do background checks on all the listeners they're going to have? I don't think so. So when these young people come in their late teens and early 20s and share their stuff that they normally would share in confession, how's that going to go? It's mind-blowing from every perspective, but it just, for me, was that they just said, no, confession's not for young people, not here. We can have them in the churches. But that's the type of confusion, you know. So when you say, oh, they got rid of confessionals. No, they didn't. That's a lie. We still have confession. Yeah, you're just shoving them to the side. It's like what they did in the 70s with the tabernacles. No, we still have the tabernacle. It's just over. Yeah, you're getting rid of it. And I'm sorry, we're calling you out. But Father, your take.
You know, it reminds me of a Hungarian priest, a very saintly man that I met many years ago. He escaped from Hungary. He said how they took over Hungary, how they took over the mentality, the common mentality of people. He said, we had a parish church, which ended up being closed. Year one, after the communists came in, they said, well, you're now going to have to pay a tax. It's a minimal tax. Well, we're taxing everything. Let's say the tax is $1,000. Well, okay. The next year it was $10,000. And the year after that, it was $100,000, to the point where they couldn't pay. And the communist officials came in and said, well, we didn't close your church. You did. You did this. You wouldn't pay taxes. It wasn't us. This is the same thing that they're doing right now. That they're substituting everything that we've got, and it's actually, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I can almost guarantee it's going to end up being our fault when people complain. We didn't do it, you did. I also, last week, I saw a picture of priests hearing confessions in these little booths that they set up for World Youth Day somewhere, the Philippines somewhere. And the headline, the article in itself was about the listening centers. It wasn't correct. I said, what are these priests doing with stoles in a listening center? Why are they dressed like they're hearing confessions, right? Well, it was the wrong thing. They're going to have people, and all of a sudden then I realized they don't need priests for listeners, for hearers. They're going to put in Flutzy Dooley and Bucky Lombardo and Miriam Bushkirk, all of these people that they're going to, what training? Well, I don't know, what training? Can you imagine somebody coming in? Look, as a priest, I have two kinds of people who seek counsel. They come to you with a problem, X, whatever the problem is. I listen. Some people go on, you have to stop them. They could go on for hours without almost taking a breath. But I'll say to them at a certain point, excuse me, did you come here to be listened to talk, or did you want a solution? Are we looking for a solution? Otherwise, I'll sit back and just listen. I mean, I've got nothing else to do with my life. Right? I'll listen. These people aren't going to be just listening. They're going to be giving advice. I know very well that they're going to give advice. When somebody comes to you with a problem, most people's first reaction is, oh, have you tried this? Have you done that? They're looking for a solution because you're coming to them with a painful problem. Well, they want to alleviate the pain. Can you imagine the advice that's going to be given to these people?
Hi everyone, this is John Henry Weston for LifeSite News. We hope you found this video insightful. For more content like this, be sure to check out the links in the description below. You can also follow us on social media to stay updated on the latest news concerning life, faith, family, and freedom. Thanks for watching, and may God bless you.